is fair. There are no rules. People always think the Geneva this, the Geneva bullshit. There are no rules to war. War is war. Right? If someone is threatening your life and you see a bottle right next to you, you're going to say, the rules tell me I shouldn't use that bottle. You're going to use that bottle because it's war. So all rules apply. The only people who tend not to be using those rules, my people. But the rest are using those rules. So here we go. Reproduction. How do we manage to cut off the ability to reproduce? Well, the ability to reproduce is quite simple. There are several strategies in play. Right? Number one, bring in family planning. I mean, like, how could we survive with no family planning? Can you imagine surviving with no family planning? And look at this. This is bloody newspeak, people. You got to read 1984. Newspeak, right? This is newspeak. Family planning. Like, we are helping you plan your family. Like, centuries before people came with family planning, they didn't have a plan. God damn it, help me, please. People are so dumb, honestly. But anyways, not the viewers watching this, but people in general, they don't think beyond beyond what they see. We are people who need to learn to view beyond what we see. We have to develop a sixth sense. We're so clouded in our five senses that we can't even see beyond it. Family planning. What the Anyways, family planning, right? They consider this family planning. And what are the devices that are used? Oh, there are so many. God help me, there are many. Right? But the problem is this. You see, in warfare, there are going to be casualties on both sides. Understand this? Do you understand this? In warfare, there are casualties on both sides. Now, in family planning, they say, number one, for the males, use condoms. That's family planning, right? That's strategy number one. Two, for females, use the lube, use pills, use, what else? The diaphragm, use, oh gosh, there are just too many. I can't even put them on the board, right? But, right, so these are the ways that they cut down on reproduction. And believe me, every time you use a condom, you're reducing the chances of birth, right? Every time you use a loop, it reduces the chances of insemination. So they use family planning as this strategy number one. But at the same time, to support this need for family planning, what do? They bring in again the magic tool, money. This beautiful thing called money. And they say, if you don't plan your family, you are going to have too many kids, too many live offspring. You're going to have too many live offspring that you wouldn't be able to support. Right? And the reason why you won't be able to support is because in the first place, with the X and Y, they selectively give this money out. So you won't be able to support this live offspring. Furthermore, beyond this, they have the part that we call the hijacking of the brain, right? I had it earlier up here, right? And the hijacking, of the brain, the hijacking of the brain is filled with material junk as a substitute for life offspring. Right? As a substitute. And when I mean material junk, right? Understand this. A diagram that is vitally important is this Maslow hierarchical needs, right? Where the bottom is basically food, sex, emotional support, and status and enlightenment, right? And they want to eliminate this part. No, in fact, they try to eliminate this part, right? And try to feed us with all of this, with status, which is the ego. And they want to keep us stuck at this stage, which is the ego state, right? Yet, when you hijack a brain with stuck in ego, right? The ego is such a parasite. Sometimes people don't understand what the ego is, and it's a shame they don't understand the ego. But the ego is such a parasite on a person's being that the ego can destroy a body for its own survival, right? So if you focus on an ego and stroke an ego far enough, men will go broke. Men will lose their status in society. Men would kill to maintain, they would kill their own brother to maintain an ego. So to hijack the brain or material junk doesn't mean necessarily physical things, physical objects necessarily. No, it means the material junk of status itself that you are given yourself, or that is given to you. And how do they supply us with material junk? Again, I hate to say this, but it's the media. If anyone can do me a please good favor, stay off mainstream media. It's material junk, right? If you could, as soon as you unplug yourself, and it's really an unplugging. As soon as you unplug yourself from the media, you start looking at the world and you start seeing just zombies that are repeating what the media has told them to repeat. They are living their lives as the media has told them to live their lives, without self-identity. You see, people think they're living in a world where it's like, oh, this is who I am. No, that is not who you are. That is who you have made to be. Right? But anyways, so we have here hijacking of the brain. So these are just one of the few strategies that are used. But this is, and I'm only touching this on really, literally on the surface. This is not even in depth on any level, on any scale.